So first, to understand the accessory carpal bone and its importance, you need to understand the stay apparatus, or at least know what it is and why it's important to your horse's limb health. So to get started, let's define the stay apparatus. What is the stay apparatus? The stay apparatus is a combination of interacting ligaments, muscles, and tendons, basically various connective tissues that serve to stabilize the joint of the limb while the horse is standing. In the forelimb, it is especially important. In the hind limb, it is called the reciprocal apparatus, so slightly differently in the hind limb. So we're talking about the forelimb with the stay apparatus. The forelimb carries roughly 60-65% of the weight of the horse. So you can see if one leg isn't doing its work, then the load gets transferred to the other limb, and it's not difficult to figure out that isn't a good scenario for your horse. And it's easy to see how that can be problematic. So basically, the stay apparatus allows for the horse to stand with minimal muscular activity, and the research indicates that it actually reduces the energy required to stand by up to 90%. So, for a 500 to 700 kg horse, you can imagine how much energy is required to stand against gravity, and to preserve that energy, especially as a flight animal, and be ready to flee at a moment's notice. Reducing the fatigue in the leg is a very important evolutionary feature in the horse. So essentially it does this, the stay apparatus essentially does this by transferring the gravitational load from the muscle, which fatigues, and it transfers it to the connective tissues, bones, and ligaments that don't fatigue like muscles do. So in a nutshell, if you just want to remember one thing about the stay apparatus, it reduces fatigue in the limbs. So that's a very casual and basic description of the stay apparatus, so you can understand the role of the accessory carpal bone, which is the specific topic in chiropractic manipulation I'm talking about today. Take a look at this x-ray of the carpus, and you can see the accessory carpal bone. You can see it's numbered 9 in the first image. You can see how prevalent it is, how it sticks out of the carpus, unlike any other carpal bone. So once you see it and you can identify the accessory carpal bone, you should be able to pick it up on any x-ray. It's quite an obvious feature on x-ray. So again, to recap, the main functions of the stay apparatus would be to stabilize the shoulder, to lock the carpus. It suspends the fetlock in the pastern and stabilizes the coffin joint. And by doing this, it reduces the energy required to stand and thus reduces fatigue in the limb. So look, we can talk about the stay apparatus for hours. It's very complex. The suspensory apparatus in the forelimb and the reciprocal apparatus in the hind limb. But for this video, I'm just trying to keep it pretty simple, just so we can talk about the accessory carpal bone. And once you see the anatomy and you can see how the accessory carpal bone interacts with a lot of the ligaments in the lower limb, I'm sure you can see how important the accessory carpal bone is to your horse's anatomy and your horse's lower limb health. So I'll pop some pictures up while I'm talking, and hopefully you can make out the anatomy of the carpus, and you can identify the accessory carpal bone. Basically just need to see the big bone sticking out the back of it. But you'll see, it'll be quite easy to see how the accessory carpal bone will be in direct relation to structures like the superficial digital flexor tendon, the superficial check ligament, the deep digital flexor tendon, and the inferior check ligament, and the suspensory ligament. So the position and size of the accessory carpal bone, once you see it, you'll never miss it again because it's just so big. And because of its size and position, it acts as a lever for the flexor muscles and tendons to do their job. And the suspensory ligaments and the other tendons and ligaments I was talking about, essentially are doing the job of the stay apparatus. So it's not difficult to understand then that any interference with the position, the mobility, or the general health of the accessory carpal bone will interfere with the proper functioning of the muscles and tendons of the stay apparatus, the ligaments I just mentioned above, and which is the suspensory ligament, the superficial digital flexor tendon, and how it works with the superficial check ligament, as well as the deep digital flexor tendon and how it works with the inferior check ligament, all of which suspend the fetlock and the pastern, as well as stabilize the coffin bone. So I'll pop some more pictures up here of the anatomy of the carpus and the surrounding ligaments, and hopefully you can make out the details of the ligaments I just mentioned. The accessory carpal bone is not a weight-bearing bone, but it's it's a very special bone. It's very, very important in that stay apparatus. So its specific positions, its size, and its interaction with the numerous ligaments of the stay apparatus make it a very important bone. Well, I hope that helped, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will try and address them. Just to recap, the accessory carpal bone is a very important bone in your horse's forelimb. If you think there are issues with it, then get it checked out. It can be fixed.